Ladies and gentlemen and friends of the Delphi Forum, I'm Apostolos Mangiriadis. I'm a political correspondent and a news anchor for SKAI Television in Athens, and I welcome you to a chat on sustainable development, one of the very I would say tremendously important issues of our decade, and I'm very honored to be joined on the digital stage of Delphi Forum with Mrs. Katja Seidenschnur, who is Nestlé Sustainability Director for Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. Mrs. Seidenschnur, hello from Athens, from, as I said, the digital floor. Hopefully next year we might see you at the real floor of Delphi.
Thank you so much, and it's really a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.
So our talk will revolve around issues on how to contribute to a regenerative and circular economy. And I will start the discussion by asking you what initiatives in Nestlé are you taking to become a more sustainable company? And in what areas have you changed the way you do business? And how do you evaluate the impact on your brand's value?
Okay, this is a very broad question. So let me elaborate first of all on the first part. So sustainability is quite a broad topic, and for us it encompasses various elements. So obviously nutrition and health is key because we are a food and beverage company. So we want to service and provide health and food and nutrition for the people. But as well, it includes the society. So we want to be inclusive, a fair and diverse company. And as well, environment is clearly a priority for us, and as well where we are accelerating quite a lot, because we see that the planet has been not valued enough in the past. So this is where we are stepping up our efforts quite drastically. So time is running out, so we see the urgency and we want to take responsibility. We have, especially on climate and other planetary boundaries, that we are overshooting only about 9 years left till 2030. So let me elaborate a little bit on what exactly we have done to step up. I think in the past, Nestlé has always been very keen on creating shared value since decades, basically. But now the urgency is getting higher. So first of all, what we are currently doing is, in terms of our purpose and ambition, we are redefining that. And what we are saying is that we want to contribute to transform the food system to a regenerative, inclusive, and circular company, and circular food system, basically. So, and when we talk about food system, basically this is the annotation that it's not just about Nestlé or the value chain, but it's really encompassing all the players around. And I will come back to that a bit later. So when we talk about regeneration, we're saying that we don't want to be just sustainable, but we want to regenerate and restore. So you can picture that this could be the health of our soils. It could be restoring and rebuilding biodiversity, which we have lost. I think we lost 70% in the last 50 years. And as well, regenerate natural water cycles, because also the fresh water is very precious. So we are doing a lot of initiatives and we are going to launch additional initiatives to improve the quality and the quantity of the water in so-called catchment areas around the springs where we operate next to the factories. So that's one element, so stepping up in terms of purpose and ambition. The second element is governance. Again, in the last 6 months, we have introduced an ESG council on the board level, so executive board level, and this cascades down then across the categories and across the markets. And it goes to an extent that also this year in EMENA, we have given personal development, so basically targets to each of our employees to contribute to that transformation of the food system. So this is also a very strong signal. And then lastly, as a third element, we are also really starting a lot of new projects and initiatives. And this is linked especially in the agricultural segment, because with our climate pledge that we committed to in 2019, and with the action plan that we launched in 2020, we are initiating a lot of projects working together with farmers towards regenerative agriculture, for example, and also to decarbonize our own operations. The other point in terms of actions as well, which is, I think, very important also for the Greek consumer, is packaging. So this is a bit older commitment that we had from 2018, I believe it was, where we want to support circularity, and we want to have 100% of our packaging recyclable by 2025. And again, to just mention it for the Greek market, there's initiatives that we have, for example, on the reduction of virgin plastic material, where on the Corpi natural and mineral water, we launched in 2020 a bottle made with 50% rPET and 50% RPE. So this is the first bottle in the Greek market with such a high percentage. So that's, I think, also great. And this will contribute to our commitment that we will reduce our virgin plastic by 1/3 by 2025. The other element on plastic, tackling plastic waste and supporting circularity, is that we are piloting various models with reuse and refill concepts. So we have some pilots in France with Loop, which is a reusable container that you bring back and that is cleaned by us in the Loop, and which is then refilled. Or we have bulk solutions as well that we are piloting. And then the last point on packaging that I would like to highlight is the recyclability. So in order to be recyclable, there's two elements. One is that we have to have material that is recyclable. So moving, for example, from multi-layer pouches to monomaterial pouches, or moving to paper solutions, like we have the Smarties paper pack that we moved and is all 100% paper now. So a lot of things happening on the material side with our packaging institute that we also formed recently to develop with R&D better paper or better plastic solutions and better packaging solutions. And then the last element to be recyclable is the infrastructure. So that's really key. And we could say this is the responsibility of the government and it's not our business, but actually we are also part of that. So we are supporting in various countries pilots for EPR schemes, for example, in Ukraine, or we are investing into chemical recycling facilities to enable the recycling of flexible plastic, which is at the moment a very low value material and which doesn't get recycled. So there's a lot of initiatives on infrastructure as well. And then I could talk about climate, but I don't want to talk so long because I'm talking quite a lot. So you see, there's a lot of things happening.
We'll have the chance to go over it. I understand this is a set of very ambitious goals. I wonder, do you expect the same level of commitment from your suppliers, the chain of your partners? And how transparent is your actions on that field to the average consumer?
Yes, so great question as well. So yes, we do expect the same level of commitment from our suppliers. They are very, very important. So as mentioned, especially when we go to the agricultural segment, this is a key part of our current footprint. So 70% of our carbon footprint is coming from ingredients that we get through the farmers or suppliers. So we are engaging and collaborating very much with them. We need them, yes, we are starting projects with dairy farmers or reinforcing projects that we have already had, as well. Yeah, working with the partners that provide vegetables or wheat. So a lot of things happening there. And sometimes we are even, working with the suppliers of the suppliers, for example, fertilizer companies, because the farmers are part of also, a bigger system. And then next to the suppliers as well, just to highlight, it's not just about suppliers in one direction, but as well, it's very important that we collaborate with retailers to educate consumers and shoppers, that we share what is really urgent, which is not necessarily known. To the point on packaging, I think that's very visible. But there's other elements like the agricultural segment or biodiversity, which are not so known to the consumers and the shoppers yet. So there as well, we are starting collaborations with retailers. We need them as well. We can't do it alone. And then the other one as well is government. So it's very key, together with Brussels on the EU level or also national governments, to provide a fair system to make sure that the actions are directed in the right way, that the right incentives and subsidies are provided, and as well to ensure that there is a fair system and fair standards, that we avoid greenwashing or as well, wrong labeling of products, which I'm sure is going to come to give better transparency to the consumer. And sometimes we even collaborate with competitors. We have some initiatives where we form third-party companies to work together on the bigger cause, like collecting capsules, for example.
Mm-hmm. That's very optimistic, I would say. Now, do you have tangible sustainability targets for the year 2030? And do you have also cost estimates for your sustainability commitments?
Yes, very, very good question. We do have targets, and some of them I mentioned. So starting with packaging, we have our recyclable packaging commitment, and as well 1/3 of virgin plastic reduction. Then the one that I didn't talk so much at the moment, but it was just even bigger in terms of the importance, is climate. So we have put our net zero pledge out. So we will become net zero by 2050, by 2030. So what you're asking is, we will reduce our carbon footprint by -50% and as well compensate for any growth. So actually, with the growth that we are expecting and projecting, we would be reducing our carbon footprint by the size of 2018 carbon footprint. So that's quite a big reduction. And we also set a target for 2025, just to get going as fast as possible. So we would like to reduce the carbon footprint by 20% by 2025, which is tomorrow. So we have that, but also, broadening a little bit next to packaging and climate, there's other areas in sustainability. So talking about diversity and inclusion, we are saying that we want to have women in senior leadership positions moving from 30% to 40% by 2022. So that goes to the equality. As well, having 100% sustainably sourced cocoa and coffee by 2025. We have commitments on water in terms of water savings, and as well providing youth employment. This is also one of our flagship projects where we collaborate with other companies to provide jobs. And we want to provide 300,000 jobs and training opportunities by 2025 with our Alliance for Youth business partners, which are more than 300 business partners that we have at the moment. So there's a lot of targets around different elements in sustainability. And to your second question, yes, in terms of finance, it's very valid. We have estimated that we will spend 3.2 billion Swiss francs cumulative until 2025. So that is really a sizable amount. This has been publicly announced also to shareholders. And I think what's really positive, and maybe as an inspiration as well, is it shows the determination on one side, but it also shows that we cannot increase the profit year after year, but we need to be more sustainable and we need to invest into our future because otherwise, the whole food system is at stake. So that has been positively received by the shareholders because we are realistic. And we know that it's going to cost them more. We cannot ask the consumer to pay for everything. So this is, I think, a positive thing.
It is, actually, and it offers somehow a sense of a purpose for Nestlé and other companies of that level, I sense. Now, finally, I understand there is also a lot of pressure coming from regulators, from activists, from non-government organizations, social media. All of them ends up to the big corporations. And have you identified ways to create some shared values through synergies, maybe, with those social actors? And what do you really expect from their side, actually, apart from their pressure? What else? What tangible efforts do you expect from their side?
Yes. First of all, I think it's actually a good thing that we get more pressure. I think that's what's needed. There needs to be awareness, and we need this wake-up call across the whole society. So not just for big corporations, but for anyone. I think there's still too little knowledge about the problems that we have next to climate. So we as business, we want to take responsibility. And in that case, we also welcome any support that NGOs can give, or as well regulators. So we strongly believe in collaboration and working together on this. Of course, big corporations always catch high wind, and the expectation of us is much higher than for others. But and that's not always, rightfully so, that we get sometimes some really strong challenges. But on the other hand, we're up to the challenge, and we want to do the right thing. So in terms of synergies, let me give a few examples maybe from the global perspective, and then as well, I think we have some exciting initiatives for in the Greek market where we collaborate. First of all, we work on with NGOs, for example, in Spain with the Global Nature Fund on tomato regenerative agriculture already for quite a few years, water saving, and as well biodiversity. And these NGOs can give us support in terms of knowledge, and sometimes as well to connect to other parties. In terms of packaging, we are very active. We are part of the European Plastics Pact. We are supporting the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and those bring really very good platforms to agree as well with other companies, also with our competitors, and as well to share knowledge and have one position. So also in terms of regulatory in Brussels, the EU is shaping their plans, and we are taking active part on it to make sure that, as I mentioned before, to make sure it's fair and that there is good standardization in terms of labeling, or as well, that the right incentives are being put forward. And social media, you said, yes, social media I think is also great for the consumers to educate again. So that's as well good. So on the Greek market side, also just to highlight a few projects, if I may, on some very exciting initiatives. So for the Greek market, obviously water and the ocean, the Mediterranean, is very important. So we're trying to tackle the marine plastic pollution. And for those programs, we're collaborating not only with not-for-profit organizations, but as well with startups and universities and other companies. So one of them is the Mediterranean Cleanup. And for the second year, we're supporting this initiative, which has been developed by EMENA. So there we're collecting plastic from the sea in collaboration with fishermen. And then the collected plastic is integrated into the circular economy through its upcycling and recycling. So, and as well, just to highlight there, the co-founder of EMENA has been recognized by the United Nations as Young Champion of the Earth in 2020. So it really highlights the positive impact that this program could already create. And the second area is working with startups. So we just had our Ignite Ideas. It's a collaboration between Nestlé Hellas and the University of Athens. With the Center of Entrepreneurship. So we just had last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was, we just shared the winners with really exciting startup ideas that Nestlé is supporting, and where these startups can proof test the concept that they have, and we give some support to them. And then last but not least, there's some other collaborations on cleaning up the rivers or the oceans, protecting of beaches, or eliminating single-use plastics in hotels and restaurants, or as well even supporting straws that are made out of wheat to have a fully natural alternative for plastic straws. So a lot of things happening, and I have to say that the Greek is really very innovative, and it's really great to see the entrepreneurial spirit.
Thank you very much for this intense introduction to Nestlé's sustainability program. Hopefully, as I said at the beginning, next year we might see you here in Delphi or Athens. And as I said, thank you very much again.